All right, here's what we got. We got New Mexico blend Paydirt without any gold in it. We've got a 20 mesh, 40 mesh, and we've got 2 containers on a scale. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to see if I can fit a pound in there. If I can't fit a pound in there, I'm just going to stop it wherever it is, and I'll make an equal amount for here, okay? So be patient. Like I said, what's going to happen here is the 20 mesh is here, the 40 mesh is here. I'll continue to empty the 40 mesh into this. Okay, there we have it. 1 pound, 0 ounces, 16 ounces. Now let's do the second one. All right, so there we have it, 1 pound for wet and 1 pound for dry. All right, let's get on to classifying the gold and see if we can pull 20 to 40 flakes out of it, okay? All right, guys, hang on there. Okay, guys, so I literally have no idea how this is going to go. I'm going to try to do it without losing a whole bunch of gold in the process. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a little bit of gold in here. Then I'm going to take this off there. I'm going to put the plus 20 in here, and I'm going to do the plus 40 in there until I feel like I've got 20 flakes. And I'll speed it up so you don't have to watch the painful process, because honestly, this could be a total disaster. All right? Okay. Here we go. Okay, so in that first pass, I've got more than, don't do that, more than enough to try the experiment. So I think what I'm going to do is pick it out a tweezer bit at a time, and I will get back to you when I've done that. I'll have 2 of these triangular trays. Oh, there's a nice little nugget. We should do that too. I'll have 2 of these triangular trays, each one with 20, but I won't torture you with having to watch me go through this. Oh, you probably can't see it. Let's see, I'll turn that light off, see if you can see it. So there's more than 40 flakes in there. It's just going to be hard to figure out how to count them out, but I'm going to do it, all right? See you in a bit. All right, guys. So here we've got the gold sorted out into 2 different containers. There's 20 flakes in there, and there's 20 flakes in there. And right here, I'm going to insert a couple of photos, one of each of the tins so that you can see, I don't know if you want to count them or anything, they're countable, but so that you can see what I've put in there. So it's time to mix this into the each of the containers of Paydirt. I guess we'll start that. So this seems to be underlit. I got to turn this light on over here. There we go. All right. So here we go. And give it a good stir. I'll mix that stuff in there. Not that gold has any problems getting itself mixed up into stuff. All right. So the next step. So we have two bowls, 1 pound of material, and 20 flakes of gold. And all we have to do now, I'm going to set up the sluice, and we'll start our runs. I think I'll start with the dry material first. And the way that it's going to go is I'm going to run it through the sluice, and then I'm going to clean the mat and pan out whatever I find in there. And then I'll clean out the sluice container, and we'll do it all over again, except this time we'll do it with wet material. And I'm not going to, I haven't decided. I'll pick one up and see which one is wet and which one is dry. All right? Okay, patience. I'll see you guys in a bit. I've got the Vibra Sluice in because A, it has the combo mat, and B, I could not fix the leak in the portal sluice. Plus, I would have to do it outside. But I wanted you to see that the vibrator is not connected, so I'm not running the vibrator. I'm going to start with the dry Paydirt. We're going to do the complete run, and then we're going to clean out the mat. All right? So here we go. As you can see, that's the dry material. So we're going to do it this way so you can see what I'm doing. See what we can do about. Let me clean it up and we'll count them out. I'd say there's more than 10, but it looks like less than 20. But like I said, let me, if you can see right along there.
Hello, UPS.
Hi there. We can just put it right there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So, yeah, there's some more over here and over here. All right, let me clean it up and I will put it, separate it out and put it in a tin that we can photograph and we can count, okay? So remember, this is the dry material. This is our first take out of the sample that was not wet. And I've got a big screen in front of me right here, so I'm going to go ahead and count them. You're welcome to join me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me start over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Well, that's not bad. So this was the, I'm sorry, did I say wet? This is the dry one. So we got 19 out of the dry one, 19 out of 20. Okay? All right, let's make the second run with the wet material. All right, guys, let's see if we can match that number, exceed that number, or we're going to come under that number. All right, going to wet that material for you. Now I've already put, this is a fresh container of water. I redid the water. I added new jet dry, brushed out the bubbles. So we're starting at the same place with material that has been wetted. All right, let's see how we do here. I'm going to pour it in at about the same pace. Wow, okay. So let's take a look at this material. All right, I think we got all 20 of our flakes back. I will put them under the microscope so you can count them as well, and then we'll compare the two, all right? And see what you guys think. No, that's one of those. Go back in there. All right, let me work on this a little bit and dry it up and get it under the microscope so we can take a look at it. All right. So this is the second run with the wet material. So I'm going to count it, but I can see a problem already, guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay. Well, so it looks like our sample was what I'd call tainted, and let me explain that. So whenever I make a run, I take the material out of the tailings out of my sluice run, because I run them all in containers. I take them all out of the container. I put them outside to dry for a day, because in New Mexico that's all it takes. And then I take those tailings and I put them back into what I call my Paydirt bin. And that Paydirt bin is where I collected the material, the 2 pounds of material that we used in today's runs. So here's the interesting thing. Apparently, so let me eat my hat, the wet material produced, let's see, I'm going to have to calculate the percentage, but it produced 18 and 27. So it produced 9 more pieces of gold than the dry material. Now, the problem, of course, is that I don't know how much additional gold was in the dry material, and it just didn't carry it out. But the point is, I got more gold out of the wet than I did the dry. So I will eat my hat that running material wet produces more gold than running it dry. But in addition to that, it produced unexpected gold, gold that was in the pay dirt, or in the tailings pay dirt, or tailings material that came out in the run. How about that? So, did I say I was going to eat my hat? Here's when I can assure you that from now on, regardless of the process and regardless of the material, I will run it wet rather than dry if this is the results I can produce. Now, there is a bit of good news. Every time I make a bag of pay dirt for you guys that we do in our giveaway, I make it from that same bin. So even though I'm adding gold to it, and sometimes there's the gold that I add as a result of its New Mexico, garage prospecting New Mexico blend pay dirt, apparently I've got a lot of gold trapped in my, no, I don't want to say a lot, I've got a lot of gold trapped in my tailings as well. So there, take that. All right, guys, if anybody else wants to run a comparative experiment and see if they can produce different or better results, I'd like to see it. But it's an interesting test. I guess what I have to do is I have to run it again, not anytime soon, and find some material that is from a location that wouldn't have any gold in it already. Having used my tailings was probably a mistake in the experiment. And this is interesting because if this had been an experiment that I had been paid for, it would have been a failed experiment, and the criticism would have been you didn't start with material that you didn't know already had gold in it. So this is kind of a failed experiment, but it does make a case for, it makes a relatively strong case for actually wetting your material before you put it into the process. Okay? Consider me humbled. Important thing to remember is I'm going to finish up tonight's video by taking all of this gold that we found today, and you'll see me, I'm just going to add them together. There we go. And we're going to put that into a bag so that we can give away to you on Wednesday. Damn, there's some interesting gold in there. Did you see the little question mark looking thing? Look at that. As long as we're looking at it, we might as well look at it, huh? Look at that. And this is pretty flaky gold. Remember, this is minus 20 plus 40 gold. That's what it was put through. Wow, look at that kind of wiry one in the middle there. Jeez. I didn't count that one piece of obsidian. So some damned interesting gold. All right, before I get too late here, let me make up a bag of material for you. All right? Question mark. Hey, all right, guys. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to weigh this stuff, see how much we got. I don't know, altogether. See if there's anything. As usual, it's not very much, so may not show up anything is all. Oh, almost 1/4 gram. Dang, guys. Okay, that's not so bad. Now, remember, to have won this one, you needed to make a comment on our last giveaway video. So you had to guess the numbers. We're going to have to figure out how that works out. But that will close as of 7 o'clock on Friday. But we will be giving another bag of Paydirt away on Wednesday, next Wednesday. So make sure you make a comment on this video because we'll use commentpicker.com for this video. I know that's confusing. I hope it's not too bad. But all right, here we go. That's all the gold. By the way, we're starting with a bag of New Mexico blend Paydirt already. So there's gold in there already. And we're going to add the, 18 and 27, 45 flakes of gold that we got. 1/4 gram. We're going to add another 1/4 gram here. There it goes. All right. I actually called it the failed experiment blend. So, all right. Make a comment on this video. And you should have already made a comment on last Wednesday's video. It's too late to make that one now because we're going to close that off as of tonight's show at 7 when this show starts. All right? Thanks for watching. I do want to repeat that if I was in geology class and I was assigned an experiment, I would have gotten a C on this experiment because it's not quite a failure. You always learn. It produced results, but the results were affected by what I started with, which was my tailings material, which apparently already has some gold in it, which is good news for you because that's the material that I use to make the Paydirt bags. So there's additional gold in there. So that's the first thing. Second thing is it's obvious just by the numbers. I should probably run the experiment again. But when you have that big a differentiation and you collect gold that you didn't expect to collect, I think it's obvious that what you ought to do is wet your material. So for those of you that advised me to wet my material, I can tell you that A, you were right, and B, I will wet my material from now on before I put it through the process. Thanks for watching, guys.